Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with another food video today. We're going to go in search of another menú del día, see if we can get a decent meal for a decent price, around the €12 mark for a 3-course meal. So that's what we're going to do today. Now the first thing I'm going to do, as always, is call the restaurant and make sure that there is a table available for 2. So let's do that now. Hola, ¿qué tal? Es para saber si tenéis hueco para 2 para comer menú a la 1 por ahí.
¿Para hoy?
Sí.
Sí, 2 personas a la 1. Venga, de acuerdo, no hay
Vale.
ningún problema.
Venga, gracias.
Venga.
¿Qué tenéis? ¿Fabada?
Sí, tienes fabada, tienes lentejas y tienes arroz a la cubana.
Genial, muchas gracias.
A ti.
Hasta luego, ciao. So there we go, table for 2 booked. You might have picked up on the type of restaurant that we're going to there today from that telephone call. We're going to an Asturian restaurant, and as you heard there, they have fabada on the menu today, which is a very nice dish, a nice winter dish, and that's what we're going to try today. So off to an Asturian restaurant, and as I said, hopefully the food will be good and the value for money will be there also. So let's go. All right, heading to the restaurant now, joined again by Dave, the regular lunch partner. We're going to an Asturian restaurant today, Dave. Are you familiar with Asturian cuisine?
A little bit, heavy on the beans and the meat.
That's right. That's it.
Party food.
Exactly. Well, the temperatures have dropped. It's 11.5 degrees currently, so a nice plate of beans I think would go down well. What do you reckon?
Yeah, keep you warm now and later.
That's right. Vale, de acuerdo. Entonces, los primeros había fabada.
Sí.
¿Qué más había?
Lentejas
Vale.
y arroz a la cubana.
You getting the fabadas?
Yeah.
I'll do the lentils. Lentils, por favor.
¿Lentejas?
Sí. ¿De segundos otra vez, por favor?
Sí, alitas de pollo, filete a la plancha y vienesa al fondo.
Vale, pues entonces yo voy a probar el cazón y el filete.
Sí.
Y el filete.
Sí.
Y para beber, vino tinto y agua para mí.
Vale, el menú tendría vino con casera, por ejemplo, botella de vino de la casa.
No, yo quiero botella de agua, no vino.
No quiere vino. Vale, entonces agua. Sí.
Gracias.
All right, Dave, so we've ordered.
Yeah.
I've gone for the bean dish, which is a traditional Asturian dish.
Right.
You've gone for lentils.
Just for variety's sake.
Lentejas, so we have one of each.
Right.
Second, steak.
Filet.
And I've gone for a fish, a fried fish dish.
Good deal.
Now, I think this menu is going to come in at around €12 today, so hopefully it'll be good value. We were offered wine, but we decided not to take wine. Water.
Water.
We're getting serious.
Well, yeah. No.
And of course, we've got bread as well, which is included. But we'll see if we get a decent meal here today in this restaurant.
I believe we did have one comment about, is it possible to get a menu without alcohol? So today is the proof of that.
Well, of course, you can get a menu without alcohol. You just don't order it. Just order Coke or water or
Iced tea.
Whatever you want. That's it. But I would say that the majority of people go for the alcohol with their meal.
Right.
Gracias.
Trouble is, life is too short to drink cheap wine. So
that is true. That is true.
You're going to get a glass of cheap wine with your menu of the day.
Well, I think you'd get a glass of decent wine, but the bottle that give you would be a cheap one.
Right.
And it's the mix with what they call gaseosa, which is like a soda water, or a type of lemonade soda water. And that's what the majority of people I would drink would say. A lot of people would drink cider in a restaurant like this because it is a cider house or a cider restaurant, so that would be a popular choice for a lot of people as well, but not for us today because we're teetotaling.
We're working.
That's it. We're working.
Maybe later after lunch.
Maybe. Okay, good. Now the firsts have arrived, and as you can see, in typical Asturian style, they've given us a pot each. Now, this is a fairly big meal,
yes.
Dave, as you can see. Well, we could have fed 4, I reckon, with what we've got
maybe
here.
Next time we'll do that.
I've gone for the fabada, and as we can see here, I'm not sure if you can pick that up on the camera, not sure which camera, but this is the typical Asturian bean dish that we have here, fabada asturiana. Dave's gone for the typical Spanish lentil dish, which fairly tasty again,
Mhm.
I would say. Don't want to use that word too much, tasty, because we got picked up on that before. But I reckon that we're going to enjoy these firsts. Dave, what do you think?
I think they look wonderful, and I agree. That's a perfect meal for a cool day.
Yep.
Something warm to put in the belly. And
Good. So this is the typical dish, as I said, the faves asturianas, and Dave over there already plated the lentils. So let's get stuck in. Okay, now I've got about half of my dish in the plate, and it's a full plate already. You're in
about
the same boat.
Mhm.
And what I like is the chorizo, which has been slow cooked with the beans, and also the black sausage, morcilla. I would say that they're local ingredients, but we'll see. And of course, the beans, not for the faint-hearted, but a very hearty meal.
Excellent.
Yeah, very, very good. Beans are soft, slow cooked. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. And I will say, Dave, I've mentioned it before, but Asturian cuisine, one of my favorites here in Spain.
I really like the food from the north. I haven't been to Asturias yet, but Galicia and the Basque Country, wonderful food. You picked a nice restaurant today, Stuart.
Similar foods, I think, between Galicia and Asturias. They're neighbouring regions in Spain. I think they share a lot of the ingredients.
Well, I'd like to go back to that part of the country next summer. Spend some more time up there.
Yeah, but this fabada that I've got here, a meal in itself. I don't think you'd even. I don't think you'd even need a second.
No, that's very filling.
Let's try the chorizo. Beautiful. Not spicy, just right, and it adds a nice touch to this dish. Let's go for the black sausage. So a combination here of typical Spanish sausage, black sausage, chorizo, beans, sauce. Wonderful combination.
You have a nice chunk of that chorizo also, and it is very, very delicious.
Absolutely. Another thing that's in this one, Dave, I don't know whether you've got it, but this is the pancetta, or panceta, as they say here in Spain, which is basically a thick piece of bacon or pork. I don't think I'll be eating that if I want to make it to 60, but a lot of people do enjoy the pork fat with their beans.
Well, there's nothing wrong with a little bacon every once in a while.
Absolutely. Now, I'm full after half of this casserole dish of fabada. I've only gone through one plate of it. Very, very filling. I think you're in the same boat there, Dave.
Yeah, I'm going to leave a little to the gods, so I have room for the next dish.
Yeah, because that's what we have to do, because we've got another one coming.
Right, but wonderful,
which,
wonderful food.
Which could also fill us up. So the food so far, thumbs up from me.
Definitely, definitely, very, very good.
Excellent. Let's see what the next dish brings. Now, Dave, while we're waiting for the second course to come, we'll talk a little bit about renting here in Spain, which is what you're doing, your apartment. What type of accommodation are you in? Typical Madrid style?
Yeah, we found a attic, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, inside the ring, close to Avenida de America. And the challenge we looked at a lot of apartments.
Sí, para mí. Ah, no, para él, perdón.
Gracias.
Gracias. Okay.
Lo siento. Yo no quiero papas fritas. ¿Es posible en ensalada? Sí, muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. But we looked at not hundreds, but many apartments all around the city. And the big issue was having a work contract that would satisfy the landlords to show you made enough to pay the rent. You could have $1 million in the bank in the United States, they don't care. You could offer to pay the rent a year in advance, they don't care. They want to have a Spanish company showing that it's paying you a decent salary monthly. So,
did you go through an agency to get the flat, or was it just
Well, we wound up, we didn't hire them originally, but they were represented by an agency, so we had to pay the 10% agency fee, which was kind of a bite to do, but we're paying 1,280 euros a month.
Yep.
And I was looking at our utilities for the year, and it's very reasonable. We probably average 220 for all utilities, internet, muchas gracias. Internet, security, telephone, the cable, electric, water, and gas. So,
Good, good, good. It was difficult to find a place starting out.
well, yes, it's between what they had to offer, the price point, having it all fit together, and then throwing in having to have a contract. It was kind of like, solving a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, yeah. Not easy. All right, good. Now, the second course has arrived, Dave. You've gone for the steak, the filete a la plancha. You had chips, you got rid of those. You've gone for salad now.
Yep.
I've gone for cathon, which I believe is a type of shark, but don't quote me on that. We can see here little bite-sized fried pieces of fish, which is unique to Spain, I think. Cathon al adobo, I think it is. Adobo is a type of marinade that the fish has been sitting in to give it some type of flavour. Let's try it. Something a little bit lighter after that heavy bean dish, and I think I chose well. What about you?
Well, it's kind of a minute steak, what we would call back in the States.
What is that,
very
just
thin,
thin?
real thin, cooks in a minute type thing. Kind of what the steak you would get on a Philly cheese steak sandwich, but it looks, well done.
What do you prefer, a thin steak or a thick steak?
I prefer a little bit thicker, cooked kind of medium.
Well, you got no
rare.
choice with that one.
No, I think it's either cooked or uncooked, but
Seasoning?
has a real nice flavor.
Good, good. So I think we've done well with this choice today. Now, just going back to what we were talking about before, flat living. Now, I presume, I don't know, but I imagine that in the States you weren't living in an apartment. You had your own home.
Yes.
What's the change been like living with neighbours, sharing a lift?
Well, luckily we're in a small building, so that hasn't been a big issue. The lift is usually available. There's probably 10 units in the building altogether. But it's the first time I've lived in the city for quite a while, and that's the big difference. Back home, I would, go out the front door, and you would have houses with big lawns. You would have, a big park, 5-minute walk down the street. Tampa Bay, nice body of water with a lot of waterfowl, was 5-minute walk away. So that aspect has been the biggest difference of, what happens once you walk outside the door.
Getting used to it.
Right. But on the other hand, there's, I told you I sold my car, and we rely on public transportation. But there are 5 pharmacies within a 5-minute walk. There's 5 or 6 bakeries within that same 5-6 minute walk. So it's a trade-off.
Yep.
Rather than having to get into the car to drive to the store, you can now walk.
Yeah, got everything within walking distance.
Right. I go to the grocery store every day because it's a 2-minute walk away.
Yeah.
So
rather than doing a weekly shop.
Right.
So the second course is done. Dessert is on its way. We've both gone for a cake. Now, Dave, you were saying you were talking about becoming a Spanish citizen or looking into it. Is it a possibility or not?
Yeah, I'm researching it. Definitely a lot of advantages to it.
For example?
Well, if you're a Spanish citizen, you can go and live, if we decide to go live in another country in Europe, I'm not tied to my Spanish visa, so to speak, so that would open up all of Europe. That's about the only advantage, really.
The only advantage?
Right, that I can see so far.
Having the freedom to move around the EU.
Freedom to move around the EU and not be tied to Spain.
Okay,
Right.
Good. And having a dual passport.
Yes, I think in today's times that's also something of value, so that's appealing, have 2 passports.
What's the process, do you know?
Well, you have to, with my situation, being married to a Spaniard, I have a fast track. I can apply for citizenship after 1 year of living here in Spain with her. And once that year has passed, the second requirement is you have to pass the citizenship test, which is
General knowledge.
general knowledge of the culture, of the government, of the history, and then there's the language test, which would be my biggest challenge. It's a 4-part language test of writing, listening, speaking, and comprehension. So that's why I'm really, buckling down, going to Spanish class twice a week, and trying to get my listening skills up to where I'll be able to pass that test.
I think you need to have an A2 or something, is it?
I'm a A1-2,
No, but I mean
so
to pass that test.
that level, yeah. I don't think you have to have a certain diploma to say here I am, but I think they will evaluate you during the course of the test.
Right, now as you can see, dessert has arrived. Dave's gone for the tarta de fresas. I've gone for tarta de crema. Look fairly similar, except yours has got a little bit of red jam on the top. By the look of it, strawberry jam.
Yeah, I was hoping there'd be a little bit more strawberry, but
looks like a fairly cheap cake. But let's try.
yeah.
Not bad. Not the best. Not the worst. But then again, for the price, we're not expecting Michelin star quality.
No. I'm going to pass on mine, though. It's almost all cream, so.
So we've come to the end of the meal, Dave. It's been a quick one today.
Yeah.
What would you give it out of 10 for food quality?
The food quality was excellent. I would give it the starters were excellent. The steak was a little disappointing being so thin. The dessert was not what I expected, as far as I thought it would be a strawberry cake.
Yeah.
So I would say overall, maybe an 8.
So we've gone for a strong first,
Strong first.
weak second, weaker dessert,
Weaker dessert.
but the first made up for
The
it.
first made up for a lot, yeah.
So 8. Service?
8. Service would be a 10.
Service would be a 10.
Service has been great.
Noise?
Noise has been on a progressive scale of, quieter to louder, but that's to be expected. Gracias.
And now we've got the worst part of the day, the bill. 24 euros there, as we can see. 12 euros each. I'm happy with that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
No.
As we said, the 2 starters were the standout.
Right. I think a lot of it comes down to knowing what to order.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right, great. But in general, this restaurant here, Tetu Madrid, solid 8 out of 10 in my opinion. Okay, so that's the Asturian restaurant done and dusted. Fairly solid restaurant. Good first course, average second course, average dessert, but in general, a pleasant experience. Service was good, service was quick, so can't complain. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Debate the video out as you normally do. Tell us your Asturian restaurant experiences, and give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. See you in the next one. Hasta luego.